Hello YouTube, welcome back to another Redang Revival review. I'm here at Bulldog Triumph today, so many thanks to Bulldog Triumph for lending me what I think may be absolute perfection of a motorcycle for my specific needs in general. I actually used to own a 900 Street Scrambler Triumph. Absolutely love that bike. I test rode one a few months back, completely fell in love with the bike again. Today, ramping it up a bit, going for the 1200 XC model Scrambler. So there's an XC and an XE. The XE is more off-road focused. That is the highest end, you know, the premium Scrambler. However, I think the XE is the sweet spot. The reason why I think this might be the perfect bike for me is because it just embodies everything I love about motorcycling. I love the 1200 parallel twin, the Bonneville 1200, which I personally own a Triumph Speedmaster. It has that engine, I absolutely love it. I love the retro styling vibes of the bike, but then I also love adventure bikes as well. So you've got the sort of half semi off-roading capabilities of this bike, along with a lovely sort of characterful cruiser style engine, along with just brilliant looks that Triumph seem to nail every time. So gonna go for a ride today, stay tuned and let's just find out what I think of the bike and whether it is absolute perfection. Stay tuned. Okay guys, here we go. Retailing at £12,695. It's edging on the pricier side, this Scrambler, for a Scrambler, but bear with me, I think this may be worth the cost. Now the XE is even a little bit more again, but this is a premium bike just in the flesh here. It looks stunning. The paintwork is absolutely gorgeous as well. It's really top quality. Right, let's get going. So it's keyless ignition, which is very high tech for an old school Scrambler style bike. Of course you have the TFT dash here as well. We'll see how I get on with that. I generally prefer an analog, but remaining open-minded. So immediately jumping on. Many thanks Bulldog, I shall see you in a bit. By the way, really nice guys here as well actually, and what a cool name, Bulldog, for a dealership. I think that's quite cool. Just outside of Reading guys, so if you're in the area come check them out. They've been really nice actually today, so thank you Bulldog. I'll chuck a link in the description of the video. Immediately jumping on, she feels a fair bit bigger than the 900, a lot taller than the 900, that's for sure. Much more of a substantial motorbike over the 900. Engine, we got a 1200cc parallel twin with a 270-degree crank on it, giving out 89 horsepower and 111 newton meters of torque. So like I say, I know this motor very well. My personal bike is a Triumph Speedmaster and I absolutely love it, but in the form of Scrambler-esque adventure style motorbike, that is an interesting proposition. So first off, the handlebars actually feel narrower, a bit narrower than I was expecting. Less counter steering than I was expecting. I was expecting them to be slightly wider, so that's an interesting thought. Classic Triumph, very light clutch, light gear throw. Now there is a nice thrum coming from the exhaust from the engine. Yeah, there is, but I would want to change that out for an aftermarket, 100%. I just know this engine very well and I know it can sound better than that. So yeah, this is feeling good. It's going to take a while to get used to. It's definitely more substantial than I was expecting. You're getting, you know, some quite modern technology. You got cruise control on this bike, which is a big win, because something of this size you could definitely go touring, you know, lovely to take out into the national parks and just go blapping around. I mean, that is exactly what I think this bike is for. So the cruise control is nice to get you there on those long trips. The dash, it's quite nice. I'm a bit torn between the dash. I do like an analog dash, but for the moment it's working well actually. I'm not against it. So straight off, let's change rider modes. You got rain, road, sport and rider, which is like configurable. I am going to put it into sports because it's only the right thing to do. Yeah, it's nice. Just feels so familiar, this engine. You're quite high up on this actually as well. It's really got that adventure bike riding position. Not much engine braking. It's got that meaty torque, 111 newton meters pulling you out of the corners, which is nice. Handling's good actually. Feel nice and tall, and it leans in nicely. More planted than I was expecting. Yeah, I'm surprised by the handling. What is going on here? What? Slow down. I'm wanting a little bit more character from that exhaust. I know you got more in you, so I would want to change that exhaust out for sure. So far I've got to remain open-minded. Not perfection so far, but you know, perfection is a big goal to strive for. Actually, on that point, we're not much of a town here, very small, but this would be a great town bike. The handlebars are thinner than I was expecting, with the high up riding position. Nice torquey sort of motor, like you're on a cruiser. You could make some good headway through a city and through town on one of these bikes. Good point to mention. Also, you know, with the big wheel up front, the suspension, the sort of vaguely off-roading capabilities of this bike, great in town, you know, for which you should never do, but hopping over curbs or, you know, just making little quick shortcuts, very good for that. So back onto my reasons of thinking this is potentially perfect, is I love that high up riding position of an adventure bike and the, you know, the perceived off-road capabilities, but I also love a cruiser engine with the character, and this really does embody both of those. When you're pulling out of corners, you roll on. Woo! It's got that just meaty torque that you get from a cruiser, but you're on a sort of adventure style bike. It's a great combination. I'm really sold on it, and I guess that's what a sort of scrambler is really. I actually rode the Ducati Scrambler for the first time, the new model, the other day, and thoroughly enjoyed that, but this is a different proposition. This is a lot bigger bike. Oh, it's got plenty of go, this. Feels faster than my Speedmaster. The Ducati was great fun, you know, a little happy, playful thing. This is a bigger bike than the Ducati. You know, you could seriously go touring on this. And here, just blapping it through these lanes, I feel confident in knowing you've got that larger front wheel up front and nice long travel suspension. It's just going to soak up any bumps that are thrown at you, which is really nice to know. Great for like exploring, you know. You feel quite rugged on it, quite robust, and it's nice around these back lanes. The only thing I'm saying, still say it again, is I would quite like wider handlebars, you know, because we'll go over specs in a bit, but you can feel a little bit of the weight on this compared to the 900 Triumph Scrambler. You can feel this is a bigger proposition. It's a heavier bike, and some wider handlebars would just help through corners like back there, just to tilt it in, to counter steer it a bit more, which the XE model does have wider handlebars, so potentially the XE I would prefer. Okay guys, so I want to go over some specs for you for a minute, so we're going to stop, do that, run over a few of the features of the bike, and then jump back on and keep riding, and then I'll let you know my thoughts. It's an interesting one. Is it close to perfection or not? Stay tuned, let's find out. So guys, try and pick a good place to do some specs. The kind guys at Bulldog Triumph were telling me this is quite a cool little airfield, Black Bush airfield, with some good sights, so this might be quite a fun place to do some specs. There's some cool bikes there as well. Awesome, look at some of these planes, that's cool. Oh, the beauties of motorbiking, exploring, that's why we love scramblers. Right, enough of that, let's blast over the specs quick, and then I will get back on some faster roads and sort of sample like what is this like on sort of faster A roads if you're doing longer distances, etc. So I've just had to move spots there because it actually turns out it's quite a busy airport, but great fun, lots of cool small planes to look at. Back to the bike. Engine 1200cc, parallel twin, 270-degree crank with 89 horsepower and 111 newton meters of torque. It's a really characterful engine. Like I say, I just love that cruiser, pop, 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 you know, rolling on character, low down torque. from this motor, but in the Scrambler, guys, it does run out a bit of puff in second gear. When you're revving out, you do notice a bit of lack of puff up that top end, but that is something that can be changed with a bit of a tune and a bit of a freer flowing exhaust if you're willing to do that, which I would highly recommend. Okay guys, suspension, you have Showa 45mm forks upside down, that is fully adjustable as well. And you have 200mm of travel, so a nice amount of travel there for off-roading. I haven't done it and I'm not going to be taking this off-road, but I hear it from good sources that this is actually quite a capable bike off-road. So if you're going for the XE with even more travel suspension, you really think, is that really necessary? When, let's be honest, it's going to be ridden on road the majority of the time. And this, I can tell you, on road even feels like it could handle sort of gravel tracks really, really well. Rear suspension is Öhlins piggyback, fully adjustable suspension with 200mm of travel and twin springs either side, just adding to that sort of retro style, which is another feature which is great about this style of motorbike. Front brakes, you have two 320mm discs with Brembo M50 4-piston radially mounted calipers. Some quite quality components on this bike, but given the price, you would expect that. Onto the rear brakes, guys. If you can see those, you have a single 255mm disc with a 2-piston Brembo floating caliper on there. Okay, weight 230 kilograms. Not the lightest bike, actually. When you jump on, if I'm comparing it to the Ducati 800 Icon Scrambler or even the Triumph Scrambler 900, you do notice this is more of a substantial bike. And you do feel it on the road as well, I would say. When handling, you do notice that extra little bit weight there from the bike. Okay, so the seat height is 840mm. I'm 5'9" with a 32-inch inseam. I'll jump on now, just show you how that lands with my feet. So I hope you can see that. I hope that was in shot. I could actually quite comfortably flat foot it with a little bit of a bend in my knee. It's actually a nice seat height and a nice width on the seat as well, giving you quite a commanding riding position on the road. Feels like a substantial bike on the road as well. Adding to that more sort of long distance travel, more of a substantial adventure touring package than the smaller bikes. Okay guys, so I hope you have noticed my Triumph fanboy t-shirt. A little bit of a biased review. It's not, it's just I own a Triumph. When I bought my Triumph, I bought a couple of Triumph t-shirts, so I thought why not wear it today, might be quite fun. But another big bonus of this XC model is the looks, in my opinion. With many of the Bonneville family, Triumph are just so good at nailing that style, and I think on these 1200s, they've done it. I like this blue colour. I would personally go for like the khaki green colour, so it looks more like Steve McQueen Great Escape style. It's just such a cool bike. It's got the nice brown leather seat on. I would put some bar end wing mirrors. You know, you can spec this out to look pretty cool. You can also spec a pannier on the left hand side and perhaps put your tent or roll mat on the rear as well. Strap it down with some bungee cords, and you can get aftermarket screens on the front like fly screens, etc. So you can spec this thing up for sort of little adventures. It is a downside in my experience not being able to put pannier on the right hand side because of that high slung exhaust. That can be a bit impractical and limit you, but if you're willing to overlook that, use your ingenuity, pack cleverly, it can be done, and I should think you can go on some awesome trips on this bike. Okay, that's the specs out of the way. Let's hit the road and do some quicker roads and say goodbye to this awesome airport. Oh look, there's a plane coming in to land. Oh my god, that was close to the trees. Some mega planes here. It's all really like small sort of private propellers and then a couple private jets there. Blackbush Airport. Highly recommend it, guys. There's a cafe here as well. If you're in the area, go and see Bulldog Triumph and come down here for a coffee. It's a benefit there, just hopping off to take some pictures on that grassy knoll. Just nice and easy to pop the bike up onto there. Yeah, is this scrambling perfection? It's a tricky one actually. It's a tricky one actually. If I'm being honest, I was was coming in thinking, yeah, I think this is definitely going to be my favourite Scrambler. And look, apologies if you're speaking technically correct, a Scrambler is for taking off-road, and I haven't even gone off-road, but let's be honest, you're going to be using this 90% of the time on the road. Well, I would be anyway, so I'm reviewing it on the road, fending off a few comments there. But yeah, it's an interesting one, because this is, I thoroughly enjoy the smaller, more basic Scramblers like the 900s. Really love that bike. This has thrown a bit of a curveball in actually, because it's tricky just to decide what it really is. It has got the best of a few worlds of that cruiser engine, the adventure bike sort of dynamics, you could say, and dimensions, and then the looks as well. But when you jump on it and ride it, this thing feels more modern, especially with the dash, the TFT, and all of the, you know, cruise control switchgear, slightly more refined 1200 engine over that 900. You start to think, actually, I'm not entirely sure what this bike is about. That's what I'm slightly getting at. But yeah, I will reserve judgment for a little bit. We got some quicker roads coming up here, just waiting for the opportune moment to dispatch of this skip here. I don't know the road, so it could be tricky. Whilst we're on it though, for the price, although expensive like we've just been through, you're getting some quality components, you know, fully adjustable suspension, front and rear, Brembo brakes all round, quite a good adjustability. You've got a user rider mode where you can adjust all of, you know, your engine power, etc. Cruise control. It's quite a kitted out bike for the price, which I think it should be for that price. So guys, apologies, we got stuck behind the skip truck there, but on faster roads, as I know already, I can tell you with great assurance, having done over 20,000 miles on my Speedmaster, it's a great engine for faster roads and touring as well. It'll sit at 70 miles an hour, 6th gear, more than comfortable, plenty of power there for faster road riding. Now of course there's no wind protection up front on this, it's a Scrambler, so it's naked at the moment, which I wouldn't want anything more than that. I like it being involved, and as a Scrambler, that's sort of partly what scrambling's about, you know, it's that raw riding experience. So if you're on a longer trip, you may find that, you know, you've got to eat the wind up. You can have an option of fly screens, and there's various aftermarket screens you can put on which would help with that for touring. But overall, is this scrambling perfection? I was coming into it thinking it was gonna be. I am gonna reserve judgment. At the moment, I'm gonna say no, it's not. Having ridden it and the dimensions, I sort of wrote off the XE thinking unnecessary. However, I think that might have a certain je ne sais quoi, the XE, the off-road version, with the bigger, wider handlebars, gold forks up front, long travel suspension. I'm going to say this is not scrambling perfection, actually. That is my conclusion to the video. So there you have it. Whether you take my opinion or not, it's up to you, but that's what I think. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed the review and the video, whether you've taken anything from it, and many thanks for watching. The debate is still open. I have not found the perfect Scrambler yet. I would conclude this as being possibly the perfect touring Scrambler, if that's a segment. Maybe we've just made it up. Yeah, I'm going with that, the perfect long distance Scrambler. Cool. Many thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Take it easy, guys. Ciao bella.